asking for volume of polygonal prisms. All right, this is a rectangular prism, but let's just think of this in terms of just the one face, okay? So if the width was 2 centimeters, and I'm looking at this purple face back there, right? And the length is 4 centimeters. We know how to take the area. We just do the length times the width, right? And so for taking the volume, how much space could fit inside of here of this, of the prism, the rectangular prism, we would go length times width times height. And just as in when we're doing a square or a rectangle, the area, because we're multiplying two sides and has 2 centimeters, this would be 8 centimeters with a raised 2, which means that I have 2 sides there, the 2 centimeters that I'm multiplying together as well. So this would be 3 centimeters times 2 centimeters. Oops, not the squared yet. Times 4 centimeters, okay? And then this is going to be 24 centimeters, and then to the little raised 3 there, which means it's cubed, which means it is a 3D shape because we have the 3 sides that we are multiplying together. Okay, that's where the cubed comes from. All right, but what if we're looking at a rectangular prism? Well, a rectangular prism, if we really think about it, is just half of that, right? So we can cut it in half and we can do the triangular prism. So how did we do that when we were cutting a rectangle, right? The rectangle in half. Well, then we would divide it by 2. It's the same here. So we would have the length times the width times the height, and then divide it all by 2. You might also see this written as length times width times height times 1/2. And it's the same thing, right? Because I can write this as 1 divided by 2. So that's where I get the divided by 2 from. Okay, so this is the length and the width and the height, right? Well, that's length, width, height, which would all be the same. And then I would just divide it by 2. So what if I have a triangle that is not a right angle triangle? Cut this right here. This would be the height, right? Same as we do with the triangle. And I can take this congruent edge and I can pop it on top of there. And I can make a rectangle with that. So if this was 6, this would be 12 centimeters times, I don't know why I have 2 stuck in my head, times 6 divided by 2, and that's going to give me the area of this triangle. Okay, if I have a prism, so this is a scaling triangle base right here, you'll notice that, right? That's very well drawn. And so what we could do is, if I have 2 of them, I can show you, escape here, that I can cut it. Trying to be sneaky here. All right, that I can cut it, right? I can cut this, and I can reshape it in order to make a rectangle. So I'm actually, on the other side here, I'm just going to pop the white triangles on top of the gray prism, and I can make that rectangle. Okay, and it proves that these 2 triangles have the same volume. So a triangular prism of these each can be joined together into a larger triangular prism and then combined to form a rectangular prism. So the formula would still be the same, but we would take the height from here, just like we would back in our non-right angle triangles. All right, another way to look at this is, okay, so we just look at one of the bases. So I'll just look at the base here. So I know the length is 4 centimeters and then the width is going to be 4.5 centimeters. So I can find the area first. I don't know if this will be easier for you, but so I have that 4 times 4.5 centimeters, and that's going to equal 18 centimeters squared. Then I can take that area, multiply it by the height. Okay, so that'd be 36 centimeters cubed. And then I can divide everything by 2 because right now I have a rectangle that I found for, and I need to find for the triangular prism. And so that'd be 15, 18, right, centimeters cubed. Okay, so if that's easier, just find the area first of just one of the flat surfaces, so just the rectangle, and then add in the height, or you can do it all in one. So when you want to find the area of any polygonal prism, what you do is you do the area of the base. So I'm looking at the base right here, and I multiply that by the height. And so what would be classified the height then would be the height of the prism, right? So if I stood it on its base here, that would be the height of the prism. So looking here, it's very complicated, right? It looks very complicated, but it's not. If you divide any abnormally shaped prism into triangles, which this has been done for me, find the area of each triangle, add them together, then multiply them by the height. So if this was 2, the base, this whole base was 6, or 6, so this would be 3, right? I'd multiply those together, which is 6, divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, so the area of this would be 3 centimeters cubed. Then I would do the same thing here. So this, horrible. Okay, so this length, I'm still saying, is 5, right? And I just keep doing that, and then I add them all together and then multiply by this height. So what you do, area of the base by dividing it into triangles and finding the area of all these triangles, okay? And then I can multiply by the height of the prism, and that will give you the volume of that prism. So there's some practice stuff for you to do.